Hey guys, I'm Jordan and you're watching Fixbook. After watching this video, your car problems stand about as much a chance as this laptop does against my hot lead. Now, make sure you stay tuned so you can see what happened to the laptop at the end of this video. And as always, don't forget to subscribe, like, and leave a comment down below. So in today's video, I'm going to be showing you how to remove and replace an EGR valve in your Honda Civic Hybrid. And today's video is a hybrid video, and that's completely unrelated to the fact that it's going to be a Honda Civic Hybrid. What a hybrid video is it's one of my videos where I take another video I've used, which is a much longer video, but I found a beneficial thing in that longer video. For instance, in today's video, I'm taking an excerpt from a video where I did have to remove the EGR valve. So I'm not going to be speaking in terms of removing the EGR valve, but you'll see all the steps and the processes that are required to remove that EGR valve and replace it. So just bear with me. It's a little different, but it's still going to help you do exactly what you need. So with all that said, let's go ahead and begin today's project. Okay guys, and for today's project I use the following tools, and you'll probably need the same. I got a 3/8 ratchet with a 10mm socket, 12mm socket, 2 extensions. You'll probably be just fine with one. I also used a pick, a good pair of pliers. You'll want a nice clean rag, and you'll also want carb cleaner or brake cleaner, can work as a substitute. And I also found it pretty useful to have this magnet right here as well. Alright guys, and the next thing we'll do is go ahead and pop the hood and get them propped up there so we can take a look underneath and see what we've got going on here. Alright guys, the first thing we want to do is go ahead and get all this junk out of our way, and we're going to do that by kind of just pulling up on this guy, and we'll just set this guy off to the side. Next, we need to remove these two 10mm bolts here that are holding this cover on, and also that silencer for your air intake system. So here I'm just going to go ahead and remove these two bolts here, and I also want to just kind of warn you here, give you a little disclaimer before you begin this project yourself. Whenever you remove like an EGR valve or a plate that's going to be sealing things, you do run the risk of tearing up the gasket or the seal that's in there. So just keep in mind, if you do this project, like you remove your EGR valve or the plate that I'll show you how to remove here, you may need a new gasket or seal. For my particular application, I'm just going to be real careful in what I do, and I'm going to pause here in my conversation. You want to come over here, and we're just going to grab this guy and pull this hose off here, and then we're going to grab this whole piece and just kind of pull up, and just kind of rock them back and forth while we pull up, and there we go. These two guys right here are connected to two rubber bushing type things down there. It kind of holds it in. So we'll take this piece and set them off to the side, and now we can really see everything we need to get to. Then we've also got this EGR valve, and we're going to remove the valve, the EGR valve. I'll begin by just removing this connector and setting him off to the side. Alright, so here we are now. We're looking at taking off this EGR valve here, and again, if you're taking this stuff off and you're seeing that everything looks pretty clean and not too stopped up, unfortunately you will face that catalytic converter. So, and also I wanted to clarify to you, I just wanted to say it one last time, repetition is the best way to teach people things. And I didn't have it completely clear the first time there, but the summarizing statement here and I know I'm rambling on, the summarizing statement is model. Now for the 04 and 05 model, it's going to be the P2000 code for that catalytic converter. So again, in summer, and again, that's only the ULEV models, the S ULEV models. Now we're looking at this EGR housing here where the EGR valve is sitting. Also, we'll take note of the EGR itself. Now again, this looks really clean. I would be expecting to see buildup all around here to actually block the pathway there, and that's what we'd find for some P2000 codes, and then for the P0400 and P0401, that's the more common thing, is just these blocked passageways, and we're not finding that here. But if you are finding that here, then again, you'll take a pick like this and you'll just kind of scrape all this stuff down. You'll take the brake cleaner and the rag with the brake cleaner on it, and you just wipe all that stuff out and get all that crud out. So the EGR valve has the passageways which are clear, so it can pull that EGR gas and put it back into the intake. So we're just going to want to make sure these passageways are clear, which in my particular case they are clear. So next I'll show you me putting everything back together and we'll be done with the project. So now when we put everything back together, we're just going to set this piece right here. This connector is going to be pointing this way, obviously, towards the connector there, and I'm going to begin with that inner bolt there. And I didn't actually show you a good picture of it here, so once I get it started I'm going to rearrange the camera and just kind of show you that bolt, just to give you that little extra confidence boost here so you can do the job. That is, if I ever get it started. There we go. So basically the bolt is going to be sitting right down in there like so, and we're just gonna get both these bolts started. So now I've got both my bolts started. I'm just going to go ahead and run both of them down just so they both kind of touch the EGR valve itself, and then we're going to snug both of them down onto the EGR valve housing. And this one was tough coming out, so it's going to need the ratchet to assist in going back in. I can feel it snug down, and now I'm going to go on the other side and just make sure it's snug down. So now they're both snug down, and what I'll do is kind of make sure it's on there nice and straight. And now I'm just going to take my ratchet, and now I can feel that it actually came to a stop. Now once it came to a stop, I've snugged it and then I've made it come to a stop. So I'm going to come to the other side and just, like you saw me do right there, that came to a stop. Now I'm going to tighten both of them down just so it does have some tightness on it. So I'm going to go right there. We go. That feels really good, about tight enough. So you're going to take it about a quarter turn almost from here all the way over to here once you've snugged it till it stops. And I'm going to do the same thing with this guy over here, and I'm just going to start right here, and that one I must have tightened a little bit more than the other side because it only went about 3/4 of a full quarter turn. So that's about tight enough for this valve right here. We're just going to go ahead and plug the piece back up, and we've got our EGR valve installed back to where we want it. So next thing we'll do is we'll go ahead and install this plate here for our EGR and intake passageways. Now we get to begin kind of just putting all that plastic stuff that was covering everything back on. And in order to do that, we're going to have to come down below here and grab these two rubber type bushing things and pull them off so we can work them into these pieces right here and we can put it back on. If you don't do that, it's going to be near impossible to put this piece back on and set it in there. Okay guys, so like I was saying, we have these two rubber pieces, and they're ones I just touched. So I'm going to begin with this one, and I'm just going to grab one of my pliers and twist, and grab, twist, and pull off. And it'll come off right like that. And we'll do the same thing with the other one. And I'm just going to set my pliers off to the side, and then what we'll do is I'll come over here and I'll work this in. I'm going to reset up the camera so you have a better shot of what I'm doing. Okay guys, so here we've got a better shot. So you're just going to take this rubber piece right here and just kind of put him back up in there. He'll just pop right in. I'll do the same with the other one. I already removed the other one. Then we're just going to set this guy down in here, and we're going to come over to... Sorry, I realized you couldn't see what I was talking about. So like I was saying, we're going to come over to this air intake hose right here, and we're going to go ahead and work him in there first. Then I'm going to look down at my pieces here, and I'm going to position this air box and cover type thing in such a way that those holes are sitting down on those studs. And once I've got it lined up, which it looks like I do right now, I'm just going to go ahead and begin pushing down. I'm going to kind of rock it back and forth a little bit and just wiggle it around. Oh, and I felt one slide down on there. And we'll know by both these bolt holes will be lined up pretty much when it's done. And I'm also visually inspecting here, and it looks like we've got both of them on there. So just go ahead and push. I'm just really making sure it feels like it's on there good, and it is. So now we'll go ahead and take these two bolts and run them in and get this piece tight and secure. So like I was saying, we'll just take our two 10mm bolts here. We'll go ahead and get them started, and then we'll just run them down, tighten them up, and then we'll get this cover back on. And There we go. And just tighten them down there. We don't need to tighten them too tight, but that'll be good, just how you saw me do it right there. Now we'll take our little piece right here, and we can see we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 different places here. I'm just making sure you can see what I'm talking about. And we'll just go ahead and set these studs in these little rubber bushing type areas. So I'm just gonna set them right there, and just kind of wiggle them back and forth while I push down, and there we go. So that pretty much concludes the project of cleaning those EGR passageways and your EGR valve as well. So I thank y'all for watching, and as always, I'll see you again next time. Thanks for watching, guys, and don't forget to subscribe so you can catch all my new videos, which publish Mondays and Fridays at 9 a.m. Pacific Time, 10 a.m. Mountain Time, 11 a.m. Central Time, 12 p.m. Eastern Time, and I will see you then.